So I'm about to say a very controversial opinion. It's definitely one that I think if it even gets a modicum of attention on the internet, people will blow up at me and come at me with pitchforks. Metaphorically, I mean, I hope not literally, guys. I mean, it's just, please don't do that. But yeah, so this is a crazy statement I'm about to make. Are you ready? I personally like limited run games. Please don't hate me, please. I can just hear it. I can hear it. But yes, I was looking at this. They just announced this Sonic Generations Collector's Edition for the upcoming remake, remaster, whatever it may be. And I saw this and I thought it looked really, really cool. And I was scrolling through the comments on Nintendo Life and a few other places where this was announced. And oh my goodness, almost all of the comments are just filled with so much hate and animosity towards limited run games, and I'm not really here to go to bat for them. I will address some of the issues that people have, because they are certainly and justifiably so. They have a right to be mad in certain instances, but like I said, from my experience, I like what I've experienced so far limited run games, so I just want to talk about that. And please don't hate me, please. For starters, like I said, I've seen a lot of people express their frustrations over the wait times for their games, and I think that's 100% fair. Their wait times, especially back in like 2017, yes, I've been purchasing limited run games for over half a decade now, please don't hate me, but their wait times could take ages. I had a Shantae Collector's Edition, and I think it seriously took me 2 years before I actually got that. And that was my phone, by the way, in case you heard that. But yeah, it can take a long time. Now, I'm a very patient man personally, so the long wait times never really bothered me. I just kind of accepted it, or I got used to it, because as a staunch Nintendo Switch collector, and yes, I collect almost all of the limited run games for the Nintendo Switch, please don't hate me, I just got used to having to wait for so long for these things. Over the last year, though, I have noticed that their production has definitely increased. They've definitely done a much better job of getting the products out. There was also some valid criticism towards them about how they just put out so many different things at once and they don't spread it out. Even like right now, for example, Lollipop Chainsaw is releasing. They just did Beyond Good and Evil. They just announced Clover. They announced the Sonic Generations thing. And there's like 4 or 5 more things they announced for the Nintendo Switch only, mind you, that are releasing that you can pre-order today. Valis Collection 3, that was another one. I just thought of it. So yeah, that is also another criticism that they need to try to ameliorate a little bit. They need to just find a way to have a good pacing, because having this huge clumps all the time, not the best approach, especially for people that struggle a little bit more with their bank accounts, with their budgets. And then they have also had their fair share of controversies. Just recently, they had the 3DO fiasco. If you don't know what a 3DO is, it's this console from the 90s or early 2000s. I can't explain it because I didn't even know what this was. But apparently, instead of using the proper disc when they were pressing the game into them and all of that, they instead used burned CDs instead of the discs they were supposed to be using, so the quality of the product was diminished and it didn't even work on the 3DOs. And yeah, that's a terrible thing. Limited Run absolutely needed to address that. Now, I do believe they did in fact refund everybody that had this issue, which was, honestly, I don't know how many people would buy something that's from a 3DO, but hey, you know, if you did buy this, you absolutely deserve to have the correct product, and it shouldn't be on a burned CD. That is absolutely 100% Limited Run's fault, and I'm glad they addressed it, and at least I hope they made those customers satisfied. But that's been kind of the other issue that I've noticed with people, and it seems to be the heart of why people hate Limited Run games. Apparently, their customer service department sucks. It is atrocious, and everybody seems to unanimously hate that department. Now, I can't speak for myself. I can't confirm or deny people's claims that the customer service department there at Limited Run Games is terrible. I don't have any reasons to doubt people, though, for this. When there's so many people saying customer service department is a bad thing there, it probably is. So I will take their word for it, but just know from my experience, I've never had any issues with the customer service department because I've never had to have an issue with the customer service department. In other words, all of the products I have received have come in great condition and I've had no issues whatsoever. All of these things are the reason why people seem to hate limited run games with a passion, to the point that they are willing to boycott this company and their products, which I don't think the boycotts are working. If you don't buy from limited run, other people will. Other people like myself, please don't hate me. But yes, it's just one of those situations where I understand people are frustrated, and in a lot of ways I agree. I wish in a perfect world limited run games didn't have to exist. I mean, especially with all of the companies now, it's not just limited run games that has limited runs of video games, especially for the Nintendo Switch. I actually did a video about this earlier. I think it was last year, maybe it was this year, but there are a ton, I mean a literal ton, it feels like, companies now between Strictly Limited Games, VGNY Soft, Play Asia, Fangamer, I Am 8-Bit, Limited Run, Super Rare Games, you name it, man. There's just so many companies out there that are publishing these titles that can only have so many titles go out there, and it can be a little bit disheartening and frustrating at times. And I would love for there to be an option that was so much easier than this. I would love to be able to go into a Best Buy or a GameStop or order on Amazon or Walmart or Target, which all these companies are also sketchy in their own way, but we're not talking about that. But you get the point. I'd love to be able to just go into these stores and buy these games, but unfortunately, with how the way of everything is going right now, where digital media is taking over and killing physical media, it's just not that type of world we live in anymore. Gone are the days where physical games were just abundant on the shelves. I mean, I go into the Best Buy, the Xbox section for my local Best Buy is almost non-existent at this point. If I go into a GameStop, it's 50% games and then 50% miscellaneous merch, whether that be the Pop Funko figures, t-shirts, Pokemon cards, but it's not video games, and it's kind of disheartening to see that, but this is the reality that we unfortunately live in, and it does make me a little bit grateful that even if it is frustrating that these companies have to put out limited run games like limited run games, at least it gives me a chance. It gives me a chance to still own or procure one of these games. And limited run games also did something that I do like, which is instead of just make only 2,000 to 3,000 copies like they used to, believe me, I am so grateful to this day I was able to get my copy of Oxenfree on the Nintendo Switch. But instead of doing that now, they do give you a full month to be able to pre-order it, so they know how many of that specific game to make. And I do like that. I think it does give people at least a chance to get a game that they might really enjoy. And there usually are indie titles, and sometimes they are bigger titles like Persona 3 and Persona 4 Golden, for example. They got published through limited run games. Atlas could have done it. I think Atlas should have done it, but for whatever reason they didn't want to do it, so they had limited run do it. And that's kind of just how it is. Sega does that a lot. They did that with Alien Isolation as well. So it's unfortunate, but I understand it, and I'm at least happy that these companies exist, because I've been able to get a bunch of these games, like Night in the Woods as another example. I am so happy to have a physical copy of it, and I would be really bummed out if I never had that as a physical copy from me as a collector of the Switch games. And like I said, I do like limited run games. I do think there are things they can definitely improve on. I think they have made some good steps. I believe people when they say the customer service is terrible. I have no reason to doubt them, and I really do appreciate everybody's and I understand where they're coming from. I appreciate their complaints. I think that's good that they complain. I always don't want companies to get complicit. My experience personally with limited run games is they've done a good job. At the end of the day, I've ordered hundreds of their products. Don't hate me, please. But I legitimately have ordered tons of their products, whether it be from PC, collector's editions, PlayStation 5, I have a few, PS4, I have some, and the Nintendo Switch especially. I have over 100 plus, 200 plus games from them, just from the Nintendo Switch alone, don't hate me, and I've never had a problem with them. other than having to have long wait times, I have always received the products and they've been in excellent condition. And maybe I'm just a lucky guy, but I've always been able to get what I want when I want, thankfully, and I don't have any issues with them. And I really do like the fact that they've been trying to promote so much of the indie scene. It's really cool to be able to own Oxenfree and Outlast and Night in the Woods. And I can keep going because there's so many. Like Blossom Tales is just another example. And Shantae, all of the Shantae games that Limited Run helped publish and put out there. And I have them all in my Switch collection, and it's thanks to LRG for doing this. So I, for one, am a very happy camper. And I'm not going to pretend like, oh, I hate them so much, how dare they? Especially when I've been, buying almost all of the products that I'm interested in. So, but that's just my take. I would love to know in the comments down below, how do you feel about limited run games? It is 100% acceptable to say you hate them. I don't want anybody to feel like their feelings are invalid. They are 100% valid. And I just want to have a discussion about this now because my take is they're okay. They're not perfect, but they're okay. What's your take? You can let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you really feel like it. Subscribe if you're feeling very generous. And I will see you on the next one. I am Bradley Overrated, out like a trout. Glory to mankind, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.